الحجاب فريضة من ربنا المنان يا أختنا بالله لا يغويك ذا الشر.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to our show Sister to Sister, where a group of sisters have conversations on matters that are of importance to the Muslim woman in the 21st century. I'm your host, Leila Abdirrahman, and with me are two amazing sisters who, on my right we have Sister.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Fartoon Hussein. I am a growth and parenting coach and also a teacher and somebody who's passionate about self-development.
MashaAllah. And on my left we have...
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Aisha Khatib. I'm a psychologist and a therapist and also a teacher.
MashaAllah, I did tell you they were amazing. And today, inshallah, we will speak on the topic of personal growth. So I think we should start with, first of all, defining it. What would you say, Fartoon, is personal growth?
Well, personal growth is the process of understanding yourself, of getting to know yourself, and to get to your potential. It's a process. It's a thing that you do over and over again. It's a continuous self-improvement that gets you to where you're going, to your goals in life, whether it's physical, it's financial, it's spiritual, it is emotional. The goal that you're working towards and how that journey looks like for each and everyone, which will be different for every person.
MashaAllah. And Aisha, what would you say, sis?
I'd say the same. It's a process and a strive to achieve your highest potential. And as Muslim women, we know that our highest potential is to reach Jannah and to have a good relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and ultimately to improve ourselves each and every day of our lives. So as Fartoon said, it's a continuous process of improving ourselves to be the best version of ourselves each day. We don't take a break.
MashaAllah. And I like, there's something that you brought up, and I think Fartoon said as well, which is it's continuous. And you said it is also part of Islam, because personal growth nowadays is a buzzword. Everyone is talking about it. So how would you say that it translates to us as Muslim women?
I would say that first and foremost, that is what is expected of us as Muslims, to have personal growth. In so many ayahs, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala relays that to us. For example, in the ayah that says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not change a condition of people until until the people change the conditions of themselves.
MashaAllah. Fartoon, what would you say?
Yes, I like that she introduced the part of having a continuous relationship with Allah. So personal growth without having a relationship with Allah, I think it will just be surface level. Because first, understanding your relationship with Allah, understanding your purpose, why you were created. Otherwise, we'll just be going through life without any goals. Knowing our purpose is to obey Allah and to strive for Jannah, I think that will complete, understanding yourself. So you know what you need to do. First of all, you're like, okay, what's my biggest goal is to please Allah. Then how can I do that? And even in our religion, we are encouraged to take care of ourselves. We are encouraged to take care of our health. Why do you take care of your health? So that you can be in a position where you worship Allah, be in a healthy body to please Allah, to pray, to help His people, the Ummah, and to show up for your family, for yourself in a way that you will be proud of, and in a way that Allah is pleased with you at the same time.
MashaAllah. I like the fact that you brought up where you said that personal growth is even in what we eat, because there's actually an ayah in the Quran where Allah says, "O you who believe, eat from the good things that we have provided you, and be thankful." Yes, and be grateful to Allah if indeed it is Him that you worship. Subhanallah.
Yes.
So yes. It's a very comprehensive topic, and you said that if we as Muslims, our main goal is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right?
Yes.
So, which reminded me also of in Surah Al-Shams where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا, right? Would you like to expound on that, Aisha?
Yeah, which means that he is successful, the one who purifies themselves. And if you embark on a journey towards self-growth, you're essentially purifying yourself. You're working towards purifying yourself. So that's in the Quran.
So how would you say in that sense, purifying yourself in that sense, what is the first step?
Okay, what is the first step? It's getting rid of things that keep you away from becoming the best version of yourself. For example, things like wasting time, your negative self-talk, yeah, things that will keep you away from doing things that will make you closer to Allah and doing things that will make you the best version of yourself.
So basically, you have to start from the basis of awareness.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is self-awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fartun?
Yes. Self-awareness. Yes. Self-awareness is knowing yourself, being aware of yourself, being aware of what you like, what's your purpose, how do you want your life to look like, and being aware also of your triggers. If you have things that are bothering you, where you need to work on more. Some people, since personal growth is not just having a great career and then your relationships are suffering. You need to have that wheel of life that's balanced. You want to be good at your relationships, you want to be having a good career, at the same time you want to be having a relationship with Allah, like in every aspect of life, because if you take away from one, the other side is going to suffer a lot.
Yeah.
So when you're aware of your triggers, where you need to work on, some people, they will want to go to therapy to maybe they've had an abusive childhood, or they've been in abusive marriages, or they had a traumatic experience, and just maybe seeking a therapist will help them debunk that and process that trauma that they've had. It's knowing that which part of my life is lacking. Am I not showing up fully? Which part of my life needs me to give more time, and which part of my life do I need to step back from? It's having that complete awareness of how she mentioned about negative self-talk. How am I talking to myself? Because we all know that 80% is mindset. They say every coach says 80% is mindset. The work and having the results is just 20%. And then mindset works on what? Mindset works on your self-talk. Like if I wake up today and I say, oh my God, I'm so tired, I'm so tired. I keep repeating to myself, I'm so tired, I'm so tired, I'm so tired. I end up being tired, and I might not do anything. I might not be able to go to work. I might call in sick, and then after you call in sick, you're like, okay, what do I do now? Maybe watch TV. You see, you waste the whole day. But like if you wake up and you're like, okay, you start with like your morning adhkar, and you start off your day with barakah, and having that, oh, okay, I feel tired. Oh, Allah help me to show up today in the best way possible. Oh, Allah put barakah in my time. I have a lot of maybe you need to, you have a deadline for a report that you need to give in. So what do you say to yourself? Oh, Allah, and help me to do this. And just centering yourself in a way that I can do this. I will show up, and doing the work will get you there. So the negative self-talk is actually what makes us not reach our goals, because it paralyzes you, so you cannot take action. The more you tell yourself, oh my God, I don't know anything, I'm bad at this, I'm bad. You cannot work when you're saying I'm bad at something. You cannot get good results. So how do you say, how do you center yourself? By replacing the negative self-talk with a positive self-talk, and saying I can do this, or Allah help me, Allah loves me and He wants the best for me, this kind of things. So the self-awareness, and then replacing this negative self-talk with a positive one, so that you're able to do what you need to do. Because at the end of the day, personal growth also is the journey of who you become. So your life is as good as your day.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
every day, what are you doing?
Your life is good as your day.
Yes.
Mashallah.
What-
You've raised, no, it's okay.
What Fartun said about what you tell yourself, the positive self-talk. Essentially, in the how we see the world depends on what we tell ourselves. The thoughts and actions equals to feelings. So imagine if you're always telling ourselves bad narratives about what is happening around us. We will always feel lousy about ourselves. For example, you wake up in the morning and you're late for work. Like you also said that, right? You wake up in the morning and you're late for work. Then you tell yourself, I'm always late. I'm always late. I don't even know what to do with myself. Then your whole day goes bad because of that. And it's because of how you told the story in your mind, that made you feel bad about yourself. But what if you told yourself, I got late today, but I'm going to work hard and not get late again. Okay, let me hurry up and head to work. So at the end of the day, it's what we tell ourselves about everything that is happening around us that makes us feel the way we feel about ourselves. So being self-aware means catching yourself when you're talking to yourself in a negative way. So you always have to be conscious on that. And to help you do that, you always check how other people are talking and spot the negative things they are saying to themselves, which will help you spot the negative things that you say to yourself. Because in Islam, we're encouraged to do husnul dhan, think well of others. And why can't we apply that husnul dhan to ourselves, to talk to ourselves in a kind way,
I think
which
that's
will take
amazing.
us so far.
SubhanAllah, that's very amazing. Have husnul dhan of yourself as well.
Yeah.
What you just said, both of you just said about words, SubhanAllah, there's this quote that says, your mind is your garden, your thoughts are your seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds, which it just shows you that words are very, very, very powerful. The words we tell ourselves, the words we tell our others. And there's something you said in the wheel of life. If I'm not wrong, there's a hadith. There was this incident of the three men who came to Rasulullah, to his house, to the house of Rasulullah, and they met Ummahatul Mu'mineen. And then there was the one who said, "I'll pray the whole night," and another said, "I'll fast all my life," another one said, "I'll never get married." And I think that's where, or is it the hadith of Hudayfa ibn Yaman? But there was one of the hadiths where Rasulullah said, "A time for this and a time for that," because you in the wheel of life, right? You are not just responsible for yourself, you're responsible for others. And if you're not even good to yourself, you've not grown yourself, how can you be good to others? How can you fulfill your responsibility to your children, to your husband, to society, if you're not fulfilling the responsibility to yourself first? What would you would like to add on that? Fartun?
Exactly. I don't know. There was an incident also about what was it? I lost my thought.
No problem.
Anyways, I was saying about the wheel of life, the balancing.
Yes.
Like, let's say there's even in Islam, you're told you need to be of benefit to the people, to the ummah. Like, I cannot say I'm gonna worship Allah. I will be in my house and I will pray I'll wake up for tahajjud, pray Fajr, read Quran the whole day, and all of. Do that. Allah loves people who are of benefit to others, whether it's your family, whether it's your neighbor, because all these people have rights upon us, right? Your parents have rights over you. You have a right over yourself. Your children have rights over you.
Yeah.
So how you interact with society now starts with you. We were just talking about negative self-talk. Just ask yourself, will I talk to somebody I love the way I talk to myself?
Exactly.
Most of the time, no.
Yeah.
You cannot talk to your child like that. You cannot talk to your friend like that. You stand in front of the mirror and you say, I look so ugly, but you would not tell that to your friend even if they didn't look good, but you wouldn't say like, oh my God, I look so horrible. Because the things we say to ourselves, they are really horrible if we were saying them to others.
Yeah.
And the only way we can be, benefit, if we need to benefit the society.
Yeah.
Let's say you don't have children, you're not married, still you need to interact with others. You need to know how am I showing up at work, how am I showing up with my neighbors, how am I showing up with my nephews and nieces and my friends and family.
Yeah.
And then there's also the aspect of if I am harmful to myself, if I am I don't somebody who's not showing up in their life the way that they should. If you have a friend who reads Quran, let's say, every day, or who takes you to nice places where there's good always being talked about, it also rubs off on you. We know there's
the hadith of the perfume seller and
the perfume seller,
blacksmith.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's about knowing your purpose first of all, and then holding yourself accountable.
Exactly.
Holding yourself accountable in the sense of who am I? What is my purpose? What am I here for? What do I need to work on? How am I neglecting myself? Sometimes we neglect ourselves and we forsake ourselves a lot, especially with mothers and women who are taking care of others. They're always thinking, I need to take care of others at the detriment of ourselves. But we shouldn't.
Yeah.
We should always have our cup filled, so that if you come and you want me to do something for you, I don't go like, my friend, she's calling me again, because I'm not taking care of myself.
Yeah. I think we hold out that thought.
Yes.
And dear listener, we'll be back after a short break. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear viewer. Welcome back to the show. I hope you had a refreshing break. I can speak for myself and say I did, and I'm sure my sisters did as well. We went on a break while we were discussing the concept of holding yourself accountable, and it made me reflect on an important concept, which is both Iblis and Adam alayhi salam sinned, right? Iblis was given an order, he disobeyed. Adam and Hawa were given an order and they disobeyed. But where is the difference between the two? When Adam and Hawa sinned, they said, our Lord, we have oppressed ourselves, and if you don't forgive us and have mercy on us, we'll be from the losers. But Iblis said, oh Allah, because you misled me, bima aghwaytani. He didn't take responsibility. So I think taking accountability and taking responsibility for our actions is the sunnah of Adam alayhi salam and Hawa, our parents, whereas not taking responsibility and not taking accountability and being oblivious to our weaknesses, our shortcomings, is from the sunnah of Iblis. What do you guys think?
I think it's very important for us to be aware of our weaknesses and look inside ourselves, because we aren't taught this in school. Yeah, we are not taught how to act and how to do inner work. It's so common for us to blame others for everything that's going on, but we hardly sit down and look at what we had to play, what part we had to play in those mistakes. For example, in relationships, let's say you're married and your husband does something wrong, and all you can see is the wrong that was done and not what you did to cause that thing. So it's very important to do inner work and know your weaknesses and know what mistakes you did.
Yeah, and exactly, knowing your weaknesses, it takes two to tango, right?
Yeah.
So for example, let's say you're walking on the street and you shove someone or someone shoves you, right? Immediately how you react tells you more about yourself than it does about the situation at hand.
Yes.
I don't know if you understand.
Yes.
For example, personally, I was oblivious in my earlier years in this planet. I was oblivious to the fact that sometimes I can get really angry, right? And it took someone telling me, Lil, I think you have an anger problem, for me to sit down and say, is it true? Could this be true? And then I realized they were onto something. So you can't begin the journey, like you said, to self-growth unless you're aware of your weaknesses. And one of the best ways to know your weaknesses is when someone is not on good terms with you, because then there's no room for flattery and compliments. It's, Fartoon, you're like this, you're like this, you're like this. Because then I'm angry, I'm very honest, right? And so some of those things are those things that you take and say, is there any truth to it? So basically, I'd say one of the ways is being open to criticism. And would you say that's like the most hard thing for us to do?
Yes. Accepting criticism will come from you being in a healthy place with yourself. And you've both mentioned about accountability. And for example, you having an anger problem is showing that actually you take out the anger on the person who did not anger you. Most of us as adults, let's say somebody makes you angry at home and then you come to work and then you're taking it out on your co-workers because you're not addressing the issue. Anger always is, it's a symptom of something that's underlying, that's underneath. So being self-aware always shows you what you need. It's always it's about asking yourself, okay, I'm feeling frustrated, I'm feeling irritated, I'm feeling edgy, I'm snapping. What is it? You're having unmet needs, whether by yourself or by maybe you didn't sleep well. If you didn't sleep well, we know research shows people who are even couples who are married who don't get enough sleep, they bicker a lot, they fight a lot, and it has nothing to do with the marriage. It has a lot to do with the fact that they are not resting. So you didn't sleep well, you're angry, you're agitated, you're irritated. It's just asking yourself, what do I need right now, and giving it to yourself.
Absolutely.
If it's sleep you need, if it's rest you need, you can take time off from work. If it is sometimes eating the wrong foods make you feel a certain way. You know, you're hyper, you're frustrated, you're having mind fog, you can't think clearly. It could be something that you ate. It could be you having stress from something unrelated to whatever you're reacting to. So how do you do that? How do you, first you're saying, okay, I'm irritated, I'm frustrated, I feel miserable, I feel sad. Then looking at what's underneath, because this is, you've seen that image of the iceberg, and what's underneath. So what's underneath is maybe grief, maybe
fear,
you know, just having all these things.
Exhaustion.
Exhaustion. Exhaustion is actually, it's a very common trigger for stress. What causes stress? Long-term stress. You are exhausted, you're putting 12 hours at work, and then you're going home, you're not resting, you're not sleeping well, you're not eating well, you're not exercising, you're not getting enough sun maybe. So what does that boil down to? It boils down to you being unable to work on your goals, to do the right actions. Sometimes even it affects your iman, because you start blaming yourself that, you know, oh, I talked bad to my coworker, I said this to my friend, I'm such a bad person. So,
and we also spoke about that in the beginning, which is minimizing the negative self-talk. So there's this quote that says, knowing yourself is the beginning of wisdom. But if we take it a step further, I think it is in Surah Al-Hashr, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, so they forgot Allah and He made them forget themselves. Because constantly, if you remember who is Allah, then by default you start to remember who am I, right? Allah is Rabb, so I am the slave of Allah. And also it helps you, for example, you're feeling angry. SubhanAllah, there are du'as for every emotion. Fear, uncertainty, anger. When we're angry, what do we say? We say, I think, exactly, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان
And
الرجيم.
we hardly do that, by the way.
Because you're like, I want to stay angry. I don't want to forgive this person.
Yes.
Forgetting that we're just destroying ourselves. And Allah says, subhanAllah, and you know the promise of Allah is true, and He's already promised us. He said, there's an ayah one where He says, and He will test us within ourselves. And then there's an ayah where Allah, by the way, this is homework. Don't take my word for it. Go through the Quran, figure out where these ayahs are, right? Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, every soul will test death. So you see, immediately you have the awareness of, and there's a Catholic statement. It says, memento mori, remember death. You know, death in itself is the greatest reminder. So, you know, oh, by the way, I'm angry right now. What if I die 2 hours from now? One of the last things I did on earth was I was angry, right? So, كل نفس ذائقة الموت. Every soul will test death. وَنَبْلُوكُمْ بِالشَّرِّ وَالْخَيْرِ فِتْنَةً. And we will test you with good and evil. You know, it could even be in yourself, right? Because sometimes you have waswas that comes from yourself. When the shuyukh are starting, they say, وَنَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ شُرُورِ أَنفُسِنَا. And we seek refuge in Allah from the evil of ourselves. Because we have our very positive sides, you know, the best version of us, and each and every one of us has the worst side of us, right?
Yes.
So once you know, I think, once you, the basis, and there's something you said while we were in rehearsal, you said the backbone of self-growth is knowledge, right?
Yeah, seeking knowledge.
And the best knowledge is knowing who is the source of knowledge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right?
Yes. Yes.
And I think shaitan is working, it really works hard to keep us away from that. That's why you'll find people also as busy on social media, watching movies. We do anything we can to keep ourselves from having inner dialogues, to sit down and assess ourselves. Where are we heading to do, or to even do adhkar, or have a serious relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? What you were saying about sometimes we feel emotions due to indirect things, like maybe you're tired, or you feel neglected and you flame up because of those indirect things. But sometimes what if the reason is direct? For example, somebody offended you, clearly offended you, and everybody around you see it. I feel that it's better being armed with self-awareness. You know this person, let's say they abused you, right? And you get angry. But if you're self-aware, you look at your anger, sit down with it, and ask yourself why you're angry. For example, somebody calls you stupid, yeah? And you get really offended and you cry and you are furious. But at the end of the day, why are you really furious? Is it because you really think you're stupid? Because they said it. Does it mean you're stupid? No. Do you really think, why are you insecure? Or did somebody else call you stupid that really mattered to you, that made you feel insecure, so that if somebody else calls you stupid, that insecurity comes back?
Yeah.
So
subconscious triggers.
Yeah, subconscious triggers. So it's better to go armed with self-awareness in a situation, even in a relationship, in parenting. If you know yourself, and you said, okay, I feel angry mainly because this person called me this, and it triggered feelings of insecurities with me, so I will not flare up. Let me go, say a'udhu billahi minash rajim, do something to calm down, because you'll be practicing self-awareness. Then come back at him. Okay, what made you call me stupid? You deal with it in a civilized way.
Subhanallah, do you know in the ayah that I just said, وَنَبْلُوكُمْ بِالشَّرِّ وَالْخَيْرِ فِتْنَةً وَإِلَيْنَا تُرْجَعُونَ, and we will test you with good and evil as a test, and to us you will return. You see, the fact that we'll all return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a fact. We're all going to die, right?
Yes, yes.
But in a different ayah, Allah says He tests us with hasanat and sayyat, perhaps we may return. So there are two types of return. There's the one where we have no choice, we must return. And then there's the one where we have choice. Like right now you said, someone insults you, it's a bad thing. But you use it to go back to Allah, it was good for you. Your husband divorces you, it's a bad thing. But if that divorce leads you back to Allah, it's good for you, right? You get a promotion at work. If that promotion makes you forget Allah, it's bad for you. If that promotion makes you come back to Allah and be grateful, it's good for you. Because subhanallah, and this is something that's really easier said than done.
Yeah,
No, it's
that's
really
what I was
easier.
thinking.
It's easier said than done.
Yeah, it is.
But it's, the more we train ourselves, because whatever we want, do we want to be more beautiful? Do we want to have better character? Do we want to have more money, more love, more anything? Allah is the source.
Yes.
So if we revolve around life around Him, then, like you said, your day determines your life.
Yes,
And
yes.
winding up, what would you be your parting shots?
Okay, I want to add on to what both of you said. She talked about somebody making you react. Somebody calls you names and then you get angry. So just having those strategies, those tools, like, okay, just getting out of there, doing wudu, saying A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim, going for a walk. Those are coping strategies that is good for every time you feel agitated or you feel stressed. And it's part of going deeper into yourself and asking yourself, okay, is this coming from another place? Like somebody who mattered to you called you stupid over and over again, and you kind of internalize it. And then you will realize, oh, I need to go to therapy to
absolutely.
Address this.
Yeah.
So you see, it makes you be aware.
Absolutely.
And I like that. And then you talked about death. Subhanallah, there is an existential psychology theorist. He's called Viktor Frankl.
Yeah.
And Viktor, he survived the Holocaust. He survived the concentration camps, and he faced death every day. So he came out of those camps, and he wrote a lot of books. He contributed to the field of psychology. And what he talks about is facing death, because he faced death every day. He saw people being killed, people being burnt, he was like, what killed the people actually was the fear and the hopelessness of, oh my God, I'm done. Because there was no surviving that, and he had to transcend that to actually face death and not be afraid of it. And that, he says, when you face death and you're not afraid of it, and you ask yourself, how do I want my death to look like? Okay, you're dead, now what?
Absolutely.
Now what have you worked for? Now we are Muslims, and you're thinking about what you're going to be accountable. Have you done right by yourself? Have you done right by Allah? Have you done right by the people that were in your care? And when you picture that, actually having that vision, you come back to your life today, and then you say, how can I live in a way that at the end of my journey in life, I want to have a legacy of goodness. I want my children to talk well about me. I want my family to talk well about me. I want Allah to be pleased with me. So I think that is
how you would summarize
how would you just being aware and knowing your purpose and then working towards it. Remember, we say it's not a sprint, it's a process. It's a process that will not end. So if you had one bad day, a bad week, even a bad season, you can always get back by seeking help, seeking knowledge, seeking therapy, having a community of people who are on the same journey with you. If you want to quit smoking, you cannot hang around smokers. You have to be with people who are clean, who do not do that, so that it smells bad
Absolutely.
to you and to everyone else.
Absolutely. Jazakallah khair. Aisha, any parting
What I'd like to
shots?
part with is always make dua. At the end of the day, we can achieve anything that we want to, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our Rabb. So we should always make dua for what we want to achieve. If it's self-awareness, anything, let's make dua. And something that really helped me in my journey of self-awareness and positive growth in myself is, I went to a workshop and I had this, the one who was giving the workshop said that at the end of the day, we are left with, let's say, if everybody around you dies, your family, and you're left by yourself, you'll be left by yourself and who? And Allah. So you should work hard to always have a relationship with Allah and yourself. And that means treating yourself like someone you love. Just like how if you are a mother, you treat your child, you forgive them. yeah, you respect them, you are compassionate towards them. So you take those and you apply it to yourself. You treat yourself like somebody you love. You respect yourself. I was the worst person in self-respect and self-love and self-awareness. I started doing small things like I would keep the glasses which are made of glass for visitors or give others, and I would take the skimpiest
Plastic.
glass and drink it. I started by drinking with the most beautiful looking glass, wearing the most slippers in the house. I would walk barefooted and give everyone slippers and make sure everyone is okay. But I started applying those to myself. It doesn't mean you neglect others. You serve others and you also serve yourself the way you serve others. That's the key ingredient, I think. Treating yourself like someone you love.
MashaAllah,
Like your husband or your mother.
treat yourself like someone you love, make
Yeah.
dua,
Yeah.
and keep in mind that face death and know that your purpose is to die while Allah is pleased with you.
And it's a process. It's being kind and compassionate with yourself when you mess up. I think it's easy when things are okay and you have friends and everything is going well, but
Yeah,
what
so-
about those times that
Yeah.
nobody's clapping for you?
Absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely.
yes.
We could go on and on and on, but unfortunately we have to stop it here. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.